Today we're going to talk about the most common fear of buying a home in 2022.
Stay tuned.
Hello everybody, this is Gamalier, broker realtor with Sturgis Realty Group.
And I'm Alan Rios. I'm the realtor with Sturgis Realty Group here in Metro Atlanta.
And today we're going to talk about a great topic for buyer, and that is the most common fear of buying a home in 2022.
I tell you what, it can be daunting for buyers out there. You know that, Gamalier? And did you know that most buyers are afraid of purchasing a home, then dealing with fear of commitment, filing their taxes, getting their tooth pulled out, or even fear of heights?
Yes. Obviously, buying a home is a big investment. It's one of the largest investment that most people do in their lifetime.
Sure. And when you look at a price of a home, $300,000, $400,000, that becomes overwhelming and daunting.
Yes. Well, let's talk about, we work with a lot of buyers, and we want to talk about the top 5 fears that we see when we work with buyers and what we hear the most.
Yeah, and number 1, this is a very common response. They think they cannot afford a home.
Yes, a lot of people think that, hey, I'm renting, I could really afford to rent this apartment.
Or they're living with family and not paying any rent.
Yes, that's life, right? But when you realize buying a home is an investment. Obviously, it's a vehicle that you build equity. It also it's an opportunity also to get the home and in the future rent it and create another investment and buy another home, or getting that property, buying that property, using that equity and sell it and use that equity to purchase a bigger home. Like most people do, they grow from a smaller home to a bigger as they grow in life, and they use that equity of the sale a lot of times.
That's why they call it a starter home, right? If you're a first-time buyer, you usually buy a smaller home. The purchase price is not as high, but as Gamalier mentioned, you start there and you work your way up. That's the way it works in life.
And obviously, what most people don't know is here in Metro Atlanta that when you rent in a property, that same amount that you pay for rent, a lot of times you could actually buy a home that is either at the same price that you're paying for rent, or sometimes even cheaper.
It
is. The lower payment when you buy a home, because one thing about Atlanta, if you know from Atlanta, is that rent has been going up in the last 10 years pretty rapidly.
Oh boy, I mean, we hear that a lot, with rent going up $200, $300, $400 at the end of the lease. Woo! I mean, that becomes very daunting.
And obviously,
scary.
Yes, it is. And if you own a home, you got that fixed payment. Obviously, you got that payment that you could actually do your budgeting and help you. And even as things go up, you're at least with that mortgage being fixed, you have a fixed payment that stay there fixed, and that's a big help. When you compare that rent going up every year.
All right, and staying on the price theme, we're going to go to number 2. People are waiting for prices to go down.
And that is funny, Alan. That's what we were discussing back in the early 2000s. Most people didn't want to buy a home because they were expecting for prices to keep going down.
Sure.
And I hear that all the time. No, I'm waiting for the price to go down. They waited around 10 years later. Yeah. Now they're kicking themselves because they realize the prices has gone up so much that they could have had so much equity if they would have bought back then in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and when you think about it too, interest rates are still historically low, so it does still make it affordable to purchase a home. Once you get into a house, just think, as Gamalier mentioned, we talked about the mortgage payment. Mortgage payments are going to remain rather steady, right? With the exception of maybe some property tax increases, but overall, you're going to be able to pay relatively the same amount through the entire term of your mortgage.
Yeah, and that goes back to asking when's the right time to buy a home, right?
Exactly.
Because back then people were waiting that, and now people are waiting for prices to decrease. But you have to keep in mind that, like Alan mentioned, as prices decrease, as interest rate increase. So just because the prices decrease, it doesn't mean you have a more affordable payment if interest rates are so much higher.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're going to go to number 3, and I'll admit, this was one of my fears when I bought a home. Responsibilities and maintenance of owning a home. I'm not the most handiest person, Gamalier. I learned a lot through YouTube, watching YouTube videos on how to repair and fix things. So that can be another daunting thing that scares people, right?
That's very common. We heard that from most buyers, is that they're afraid of taking a property and all the responsibility of the repair, because now if you're renting, it's just a phone call away, call your landlord, he will go and fix it. But at the same time, you're making your landlord rich because you're paying their mortgage and you're not owning anything. At the end of the year, all that money goes out the window.
Exactly.
Now, one of the things to do is
get a home inspection, right? So that's one of the things that we negotiate when we're putting an offer on the house. We want to get that due diligence period so we can get a home inspection done, and then whatever comes out of that, any major repairs that need to be done, that's something that we negotiate with the listing agent and seller, right?
Yeah, like Alan mentioned, it also gives you the opportunity when you do a home inspection, when you're buying a home, is to get to know the house.
Sure.
It's like a book. Reading the book, you get to know what if there's any repair, any leak roof, the floor needs to be repaired, the appliances are okay. So you really get to know the house, and that way you could negotiate through the transaction or do the second thing, which is
a home warranty, right?
Yes.
That's something that you can also negotiate in a contract as well for the seller to take care of. If not, if you can still purchase a home warranty, and that's kind of like extra insurance in case anything fails in your house. Say the AC unit goes out, the furnace goes out. That's, the last thing you want to do after making a big purchase is make another big purchase, right? Within a couple of months moving into your home.
And again, the home warranty is not home insurance. The home insurance is for the home, if it's fire, anything like that. The home warranty, what it does is it handles repairs of the home. So you pay typically, you buy the home warranty, it typically goes for 1 year.
Exactly.
And let's say if...
You can always renew it too.
Correct, yes. And then if something happened, let's say the furnace goes out, you actually will call the home warranty. They will send somebody in, take a look, and you will pay a small deductible, anywhere between $50 to $75. Instead of paying $500 to $1,000 for that company, you only pay that short amount. So obviously helps your pocket, keep a lot of money in your pocket, and you don't have to worry as much as doing repair in the home.
Yeah, it's just a peace of mind to have that home warranty. All right, number 4, people sell themselves short when it comes to credit and also down payment, Gamalier.
And obviously, most people think that in order to buy a home, you need to have perfect credit.
Yeah, I do hear that quite often. I actually had a call where someone thought they weren't able to afford to get into a home because of their credit score, when their credit score was actually really, really good.
Yes, and obviously, the one thing you need to do is check your credit annually. You could go to annual report, and then there's many ways to check it for free also. But you want to get to learn your credit, and if you need a little help on repairing the credit, obviously, one thing you could do is try to tackle those stuff yourself if you can, if you have the knowledge and the time. If not, my best advice is to hire a professional. When you hire a professional, things get done right. Yeah. So obviously, there's a lot of credit professionals that work on repairing credit, and actually they know what they're doing, so they're able to put you in a better situation.
Yeah, they can put you on a plan to where you can repair your credit and increase your credit score. And sometimes we'll see that within a 3 to 6 month period, depending on how bad your credit is.
And obviously, credit now, you use credit for everything. Whether you're looking to buy a home, buy a car, get a job, get an apartment. So there's so much nowadays you use credit that not only going to help you buy a home, but it will save a lot of money all around your personal finance.
All right, so let's go to number 5, Gamalier. They don't make buying a home a priority. Do we hear that enough?
No, that is very important, obviously, because obviously buying a home, you're not going to buy a home until you take that initial step in making a home a priority. I hear people, I want to buy a home, but they really don't start planning. You got to put the right pieces in place, and one of those pieces is working with a professional, experienced realtor. They could tag you and get you in contact with a good loan officer. They have good plans. They have good down payments where we talk about down payments. Down payment, most people think that they have to put 20% when it comes to buying a home.
I do hear that, yes. And we kind of have to explain that to them. There's a lot of options out there, right?
Yeah, you could put as low as 3% when you buy a home. Let's say if you buy a home for $200,000, that if you put in 20%, that is $40,000.
That's a lot.
Versus versus 3% is only $6,000. And there's also programs where you go as low as 0% down, where you actually end up not putting anything out of your pocket. So that when it comes to down payment, obviously there's a lot of help. But obviously, like we talked about, it's taking the step and the initiative to plan and make sure that you do it right.
Yeah, and also, as we mentioned before, the comfortable factor, the fact that they're, paying rents, they've been living at home with family, they've been thinking about it, but just need that push, that initiative to get them to go.
Yes, and I mean, it's just like we set up goals, obviously, like when you go to the gym, you want to work out those muscles, but you want to have the six pack, but then obviously you can't do that by sitting in your couch and not taking action. Same thing with owning a home. You got to get a little uncomfortable, get up your feet, talk to a loan officer, to a good realtor, and make it happen. A lot of people want to do it. If you want it enough, I would say go and get it.
All right, some great information there. Hopefully we helped conquer your fears in buying a home. All right, whether you are looking to buy in Metro Atlanta or are relocating into the area, please give us a call.
Definitely, we work with buyers, realtor, investors, and everything. So definitely, we'd love to help you. And if you live in a different state, also, we have a network of realtors all through the United States, including Puerto Rico. We can actually get you in contact with a realtor in your area.
And I just used one last week. Out of state. All right, thank you for watching, everybody. Remember to click a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll talk to you next time.
Have a great day.